Welcome to this Ghost of Tsushima video. A lot to break down in here. The new PC version has just came out. I got my hands on it and I wanted to give a guide for beginners and returning players for this game. And I'm super excited because this is actually my favorite samurai game ever. I absolutely love it. And whether you agree to disagree, today I'll give you some insight for that as we go forward. You're going to be watching the introduction of the game. It's literally the first couple minutes, seconds here. And this is on the PC, but we're going to discuss everything that the game is offering when it comes to your experience as a player and what you should be looking forward to. There's a expansive open world single player experience. Then there's a co-op storyline plus a raid and some competitive PvE, PvP style setups as well. This game has a lot to offer, and I can promise you, you're going to enjoy yourself if you take the time and run through it. The first thing I want to talk about is just running through the game and experiencing it. One thing about open world games is you're going to have as good as a time as your mindset lets you. So if you go into an open world rushing and just trying to get through the main storyline, which a lot of people do, they'll miss out on some really great side missions, some really great open world activities that can actually make you really fall in love with the game, the universe, the characters, and so much more. And with that being said, Ghost of Tsushima actually has some of the best designs I've ever experienced with this game. I've never got to that point where I could actually feel, wow, this is something special and just get lost in the universe as much as I did with this game. And I've done it with other games as well, but man, oh man, I got to tell you, this one was special for me. So take the time and do that. And you'll run into very cool things. I don't want to spoil everything, but just a couple tips here. There's going to be some animals that you might want to listen to and watch for, maybe follow them and find yourself some upgrades and things like that that are going to be very valuable for you. So go ahead and do that and come back and let me know all the goodies that you got, which we'll get into a little later about actual skills and breakdowns. This is going to be a deep dive into this game as much as possible for you guys to know. But that's number one. Secondly, these side missions are actually very cool. There's some side missions with characters where you get to learn maybe about a mentor, maybe about a close friend, and things like that that reveal their life, their story, their backstories, and even the current situations that connect to the main storyline as well in different ways. And so I recommend with all your heart to take your time and not rush through all of that. And one of the side missions, and this is the pro tip here, is that the side missions go based off of scenarios. So you start off with side mission number one for a specific character, and then you move on to the second and third and fourth till you finish their storyline within the open world. So you can run through everything all at once and spend a couple days just going through the side mission stories. So that's a recommendation. That's one of the first things that I would put on the table for you as you go forward. And please lock into that because you're going to love it. And I can guarantee. And another tip, which we'll get into a lot of the upgrading and things like that. But with that, is that these side missions do have some very good upgrades and rewards. Each mission, each activity will have rewards. Like I said, following the animals has rewards. You're going to get upgrades. Doing some of the training in the game, you'll get upgrades. These side missions always give you upgrades, materials, and rewards to help you. So you can do those just to kind of level up if you feel the game is too difficult. And speaking of difficulty, one of the greatest things in this game is lethal mode, lethal plus specifically. But lethal mode is the hardest difficulty in the game. And when you play it on normal, which you're watching some footage of, it's not necessarily as difficult because enemies won't one shot you and you don't one shot enemies. But with lethal, it's literally lethal. And it's something I think all games should have a feature. It's kind of like a hardcore mode where if you one shot somebody, you can slice them and basically take them out in 1 or 2 blows, but they can do the same back to you. So instead of making the game spammy where you have a huge health pool and it's kind of like a RPG, instead of that, which a lot of games do, this game makes it so that, hey, you know what? They can two shot you or one shot you and you can one shot them too. So be careful, get out there, and the game feels very intense when you play that way. It's such a cool thing. So I do recommend that, but if you're starting off, go on normal and just play through and you'll see. But if you play it on the hardest difficulty, you won't say some of the silly online things that people have said. This game, it's like, no, I promise. It's going to be a lot more difficult than you think. And yeah, it should be very cool. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to take a pause here on this action just to give you guys some in game breakdowns. The visuals you're watching now are between the PC and the PlayStation 5. Right now, this is my PlayStation 5 version because I did platinum it and all of that good stuff. And as I was saying, these are the rewards that you're seeing on some side missions. Each character has different main missions. As you can see, I'm on number 2 for this playthrough with him. And that is very cool. There's things like foxes and birds that will give you rewards and so on. But I wanted to get into the gear as well. Okay. Take the time to find some charms. Okay. Charms are the way you make your build. It's going to be probably the most essential thing that you do for customization for your character, and this is going to be critical. There's two main ones and then there's minor ones, okay? The majors and minors. And these are basically how you create your playstyle and what you do for that, okay? And then you can get into the outfit. The outfit actually does have an effect. If you look here, there's plenty of different outfits, some of them to be tanky, other than to have faster reload when you're using your bow and arrow. Some of them are for melee, and it just depends on your play style, what you want to do, and how you want to go about it. I have the monkey mask. I just think it's hilarious. It's very fun for me to put that on. But yeah, so that is critical to take your time and hit those. Now we're gonna get into the skills. You're gonna end up getting all the skills as you can see here. I don't want to spoil it too heavily. What I can say is focus on what you lack. Okay. I don't want to start suggesting I have some breakdowns and things like that, but you need to focus on what you lack. So let's just say you're not good at deflecting. Well, guess what? Just get in here and work on this. This is going to help you be better at deflecting and you're going to get more rewards for it. If that's the way you play, then focus on that. I personally challenge myself and play evasion. I love dodging in games just because I feel it takes more skill and more aggressive to do that, but it depends on the person. And so I like to dodge, so I will focus on that. Okay. But that being said, there's important things like for exploration that's going to just help you find all of these secrets, like these training bamboo strikes and things like the hot springs. So you want to do this and make sure you unlock those as well. Speaking of that, there are 4 stances. Each of these stances are vital because it depends on the enemy type. So you want to make sure you start working on this as you go forward. And I like to spread it out when I first start playing. I'll spread it out and give each of them something. Now, if there's a combat style that you really like and you say, hey, these combos are my favorite, even though it might not work directly on this enemy, I can use it just to kind of spam them a little bit. I'm going to focus on that and then upgrade that. Okay. Same thing with the ghost skills. Again, it's your choice. There's a lot of very cool tools. The kunai, the powder, the smoke bombs to me is the easiest. So I recommend this one as the number 1 must do right here. Put this on and you should be fine because this is going to give you a chance to eliminate 3 or 4 enemies and escape, as you can see in the footage here. as you go forward. So that is number one. After you do the smoke, then you can start working on other things going from there. Then we have, again, the last one. This is about building your playstyle as you go forward, depending if you want to be stealthy, depending on if you want to have better assassinations. There's a lot of ways to go. The bow and arrow, for example. Just figure out what you're used to, what you like most, and you should be fine when it comes to this game, right? There's plenty of very cool aspects that you can end up enjoying going forward. But again, I want to just kind of stress in this open world, it's not about rushing through it and saying, I don't really like this game. Take your time. You're going to see some cool stuff and just vibe out. It can get very intense. Don't get that twisted just because, we're talking about, a very cool open world visually. That doesn't mean that it is actually weak or boring like some people might suggest. If you put it on the hardest difficulty, you'll have probably some of the most intense battles as you go forward playing this game. Okay. That's some of the breakdowns, and I do want to touch on the differences for PC. I have not really touched much PC. I'm more of a controller guy, so you can judge me if you want on that, but I can guarantee you, you take your time and do it right, don't rush, you'll be fine. All that being said, that's pretty much some of my guide and my tips and my breakdown. I do want to share just my general thoughts about this game. As I said before, it's my favorite samurai game. The duels are amazing. The mechanic to challenge enemies when you enter a base, like a true samurai would, is very special. There's a great storyline that takes you through the journey of Jin, as well as his friends, if you play through all of that stuff. And it just opens the door for a very cool overall experience that I think anybody who loves open worlds, anybody who loves hack and slash games can enjoy if you take your time with it. So feel free to hit me up. I have some more tips and tricks and guides that should be popping up right now. Hope you appreciate that. See you guys in the comments. Peace.